So, Luis, you've lived 76 years, long years, about to be 77 coming up soon.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, my question to you is this. You've seen a lot of stuff, lived through a lot of stuff. Do you have any regrets?
You know, sometimes I think that I should have been a little bit more organized in my way of life, because I could have gone farther than what I, got. And I did never pursue that. But one of the things that I regret the most, that I always think about it, is about my mother. My mother was a single, and she was divorced, and I grew up with her. She went through a lot of sacrifices to provide me with a good education, and she did some things that were tremendous. Like I told you, when she went to talk to the dictator to give me the scholarship.
Yeah.
At that time nobody would have dared to do so, and she did it. Should I say it? Mention it?
Oh yeah, mention it. Oh yeah.
There was in my country there was a dictator who was trying to build a nation from the grassroots.
Rafael Trujillo. He was the dictator of the Dominican Republic for over 30 years. He was known as El Benefactor de la Patria, the benefactor of the country. He successfully built a prosperous republic with a thriving economy. However, he did so with a strict, bloodied iron fist. Trujillo was responsible for countless deaths, most notably the Parsley Massacre in 1937, where he ordered the murder of close to 30,000 Haitians that resided in the Dominican Republic. In fact, Luis had an older brother named Victor, nicknamed El Chino, who was killed as a young adult due to radical activism against Trujillo's rule. Rafael Trujillo was assassinated May 30th, 1961.
Assassin's bullets put a bloody end to the 31-year dictatorship of Dominican strongman Rafael Trujillo, here with his brother Hector. His was one of the most absolute iron-fisted rules in modern history.
A day that was cause for celebration to many of the Dominican people.
In Ciudad Trujillo, there are frenzied demonstrations as the people of the Dominican Republic pour into the streets to enjoy the rights of free men after 3 decades of Trujillo rule by force. The demonstrations are viewed by observers as indicating the desire of the Dominican people for a new political order based on representative government and respect for individual rights.
And one of the first things he did was to create a Polytechnic school. It was a super school, and my mother said, I want my son to go to that school. And they said, well, you don't have the money to send him there. That's not for you. She said, well, I'm going to get my son to go there. And she told a friend of her to accompany her to El Malecón. El Malecón was a promenade that was all along the seaside. And the dictator used to take, after dinner, he would go down with his entourage. My mother, when she told her friend where she was going to, she said, you crazy, I'm not going to go there. She said, if you don't go with me, I'm going to go alone. She said, okay, I accompany you, but you have to be careful. Wait for the dictator to get out of the house. So my mother walked straight to them, and she said, I'd like to work with you. And she said, oh, talk to my secretary. He'll take care of you. So my mother said, no, I want to talk to you. She said, no, please, talk to him. He'll take care of you. Don't worry. So my mother told the secretary, and the first time, my mother didn't get any replies. So she said, I'm going to go back. And the girl said, you're crazy, I don't want to go, but I'm going to go. And she went the second time, and she catched him, and she said, Generalissimo, I'd like to speak with you. He was very courteous with her. Talk to my secretary, he will take his... No, the last time you told me to speak to your secretary, and I didn't get any answer. I want to talk to you because I want my son to get a good education. And she said, what did you say you want? I said, I want a scholarship for my son. Please do it this time. And a week later, 10 o'clock in the evening, and my mother was scared. What is this? And she said, Señora, I'm coming here to tell you that your son has been approved for a scholarship in the Instituto Polytechnico Loyola. He had to go next week to take the exam. He's been admitted. not everyone in the country will dare to do what she did, because that guy was feared, you know. That I admired of my mother, and all the sacrifices she make. You know, my mother used to make $15 a week working as a binder, bookbinder, and she was a good one. And of that $15, every weekend she would give me $1. Think about it like that. Giving me $1 out of those $15 was a lot, and I took it as if it was nothing. And I went through life with my mother, seeing that she's doing all those things, and I took it for granted. You know, sometimes when we used to live here, my mother used to come down the street with packages, you know. She was already over 60 years old, a little bit overweight. And I never went to the corner and said, let me help you. And then when she got to the corner, I didn't say, let me help you. And she lived on the 5th floor on a building similar to this. And, you know, when I think about that and I see what I'm going through, I say, man, I regret that.
Wow.
And I regret that I didn't show her the love that she deserved for the sacrifices that she made for me, because she never married a man. After she worked with my father, she never looked at a man in her, you know, in his face, because she said she didn't want any man to interfere with my education. And you know, for a woman to surrender her whole life just to dedicate her life to a person, to a son, in the way she did, and deprive herself of living. She never went to the movies. She never did anything. All she did was work and work in the house, wash the clothes on the weekend. That's all. I never saw her smiling. And when I look back, I said, man, she was a great woman, and I didn't even have the chance to show her my appreciation. The only good thing that I think I did was that when she was on her later years, I took care that she have everything she needed to. We visited her every day, you know, after we came from work. Now we got her a good home attendant for 24 hours. And she was really happy, because she didn't miss anything. So, but I think she would have been happier if I had shown her an appreciation for her sacrifices, and I never did that. And every time I pray, I remember her, you know. And I know you're looking at me from wherever you are, you're looking at me, you know. So that's the main regret that I have. Yeah.
Join us next time for the final installment of the docuseries, The Life of Louis Sterling. Brought to you by Pan Dolly Till Productions.